welcome to the British Wheelchair Basketball Women's League Highlights Show. I'm Jude Handley.
And I'm Stephen Jameson, and coming up over the course of the next 15 minutes, boy have we got a show for you. It's the first weekend of the Women's League, and we are so excited to bring it to you inside the Nottingham Wildcats Arena. It's absolutely freezing out here, so let's take a look at the action inside.
Coming up, we've got all the highlights from the Division 1 fixtures, as well as a roundup from the exciting Division 2. And also, for the very first time, the Women's League Division 3.
So on that evidence, we've got a really exciting show coming your way over the course of the next 15 minutes or so. Now, earlier on here at the Wildcats Arena, I had time to catch up with Anna Jackson, who's a retired Paralympian and a Women's League ambassador. Here's what she had to say. All right, so here I am with Anna Jackson. Anna, you're now an ambassador for this Women's League. What makes it so great? You've been a part of it for so long. What makes it so great?
It's just amazing seeing so many new people come through, play the sport. Each time we do it, there's more people, and that's incredible level of enthusiasm for all the players that's here. And it's the thing that I find lovely is that the older players are helping the newer ones come through, and it's just brilliant. And to just sit and watch these games I love it. I love it.
And it was so successful last season, wasn't it? But there's been quite a few changes to this new season. What is different this year?
Yeah, we've got more teams. There's players coming over from everywhere. We're with the Angels of the North team. We've got 4 teams, so we're playing First Division, Third Division, Fourth Division. It's definitely. I mean, we've at the development camp yesterday. We had 50 players coached at that. So there's just so many more players coming through. It's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant to see.
Yeah, the sport's really booming at the minute. What do you put that down to? Is it stuff like the league? You saw amazing actions in the Euros and the World's under-25s as well. The sport is really growing in the women's game particularly. Is it these talent development sessions, the league, that's helping it to do that?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you look at things like the Europeans and the juniors, people are starting to realise that maybe it's something they could achieve. I think in the past there's not been that much exposure, so you're starting to see more on telly now, more live streams. You're getting to see more of the players. I think the international players aren't sort of hidden away anymore. They're involved, they're playing. And I think people are realising that there's whatever they want to get from the sport, there's an opportunity to do that. Whether it's just turn up, have a little play, go home again, or whether it's actually, I've set my sights on international, I'm going to go for that.
So that's why we love this sport. But if you would like to know more about wheelchair basketball, here's a quick video with everything you need. Let's take a look.
Wheelchair basketball is similar to basketball in many ways. The court size and hoop height are identical, as is the scoring system. 2 for a basket and 3 for a long shot beyond the 3-point line. The rules are largely similar too, although travelling works slightly differently in this sport, with players only allowed to propel themselves forward in their chair twice without bouncing the ball. This sport is non-contact too, although chair-to-chair contact is expected and allowed within reason. This sport is inclusive and caters for absolutely everyone, so a system is in place to balance the teams. Each player is individually classified according to their functional ability on a scale of 1 to 5, and teams are only permitted a set total on the court at any one time. The league is divided into 3 divisions. Division 1 contains 5 teams, Division 2 contains 4, and, brand new this year, Division 3 contains 2 pools of 4 teams. The divisions will end their seasons with the playoffs, which will determine their champions.
So now you know everything you need to know about the league and indeed the sport. Let's kick off the show with some action, shall we? We start with the Division 1 highlights. Newly promoted Bells Angels of the North were looking to kick off their Division 1 campaign with a bang against last year's 4th place team CWBA. Robin Love here for 2. Joy Hazelden ended last year as the MVP in the All-Star game, and she looked to further showcase her prodigious talent here with this score. But in the opening game of the weekend, it was the Angels who took the win, 37-30. Last year's champions, the Vixens, were then back in the spotlight as they took on the Steelers in a rematch of last season's final. Sophie Carrigill here putting 2 up for the Sheffield side, but in truth the match wasn't as close as their overtime epic in Worcester, and Amy Conroy scored 2 of her 14 points here to help the Vixens to a 55-33 win. The Angels were next up, looking to continue their great start, this time against the Steelers. The Angels start the highlights with this great basket from out left and were 30-16 up at the half. The Steelers came back strong though, and Leah Evans here scoring 2 of her amazing 26 match points with this effort. The Angels were to snatch it late on though, and it finished 46-44.
So now we get our first look at the London Titans for this campaign, with legendary coach Anne Wild once again donning her famous number 8 shirt, but she could do nothing here to stop Sarah Hope of the CWBA scoring. Pauline McDonald showed her class with this score from deep, but the CWBA were not to be denied, Rosie Williams scoring here, and it finished 45-26. The newly promoted Angels came into this clash with the Vixens 2-0, but last season's champions, led by Amy Conroy and Claire Griffiths, who put 21 and 15 points up each respectively, were always going to be a tough opponent. Here the Conroy-Griffiths combination struck to great effect for this score, and despite the Angels rallying in the third, the Vixens took it 57-29. Meanwhile, the Titans and the Steelers went head-to-head on the other court, and Leah Evans was continuing her sparkling form throughout this weekend. These teams contested some tight games last season, but this was something else. Pauline McDonald was deadly from the free throw line here, but with 10 seconds left, Megan Wood had to score both of hers to force overtime, but her second one bounced away. Steelers steal one, 45-44. The Steelers then followed that game with a match against the CWBA. Never an easy contest when Joy Hazelden is showing this kind of form. The Steelers are a team though that never lies down, and Jo Richards got her name on the board here with this great score. The CWBA though were just a bit too strong, as Sarah Hope helped herself to 2 more, and the Coventry side won it, 46-33. The final game of the weekend saw the Titans face the informed Vixens, who were showing no mercy, flying out to the blocks with Ella Beaumont grabbing this score. The Vixens were dominant but didn't have it all their own way, as Fee Tillman proved, but Scott Wallace's team made it 3-0 for the weekend, winning 64-21. I caught up with him after the game.
Alright then, so Scott, the last time I spoke to you, you were drowned in confetti having just won the championship. You're now back in the Women's League, the first weekend of the season. What's changed since then?
We've got some exciting new players coming in. We've got some young blood that we're dragging into the team, and they're delivering the goods, which is great. 3 runs from 3 from this weekend, and they're delivering exactly what we look for them. So exciting times for this season. Yeah,
absolutely. You say there they've delivered already 3 great wins already. What's been the secret? What's made you so good so far?
I think it's difficult to take anything away from one weekend. It's a long season, and we know there's a lot to come. We know there's a lot of good players out there that are recovering from injury and recovering from various commitments. So it's going to be exciting to see them come back into the opposition, and that will give us something to think about. But we play who turns up on the day, and in that regard, the girls did exactly what they needed to do. They closed it out. We had a great opportunity to experiment. We played one line-up with 8.5 points. We played one line-up with an average of 18. So it's a really great position to be in from a coach's point of view, to have that kind of flexibility. But at the end of the day, the girls are looking for wins, and that's what they got. So, well played to them.
Is that the target then for the rest of the season, just to keep this form up and see where you finish at the end of it?
Oh, absolutely. It's as I said to them, winning a championship is good, but retaining a championship is even better, and that's got to be the goal. We know it's a tough climb. We know that there are no easy games as we go, and certainly the national finals last year, it was points in it, and it could have gone either way. And we're looking to that again. We're ready for it. So the girls are focused on taking it the whole season and winning.
And as we take a look at the table, you can see why Scott Wallace is a very happy coach, as the Vixens sit pretty at the top. You'll be used to seeing the Angels on top of the tree over Christmas, but here they'll have to make do with second place, which is a great start by the newly promoted team. For the CWBA, an equally strong start as they sit below the Angels only by virtue of head-to-head, whilst the Steelers also lie in wait ahead of week 2. For the Titans, work to do, but they'll be looking to come back stronger in January, and they'll need to be, as up next for them are the Inform Angels.
So that's all the action from Division 1. Let's take a look at the highlights from Division 2.
We kick off the action in Division 2 by looking at the Bells Angels of the North second squad. They had 3 games this weekend, with 2 defeats by the Titans 2, sandwiching a loss to the Blackhawks. There were plenty of highlights, however, like this beauty from Lauren Beattie, which certainly put smiles on the Angels' faces. Next up, it's the London Titans 2. They opened their weekend with a strong win over Angels 2, but next up was a tough contest against the Blackhawks. Despite this excellent basket from the team in red, the Blackhawks were just too strong. The Titans, though, ended their weekend as they started it with a win over Angels 2, leaving them reasonably satisfied with their first week of competition. Finally, from Division 2 this weekend, it's the Blackhawks, and they started the Women's League on a mission this season as they opened up in the first of their 2 games versus the Angels 2 with a stunning 50-6 victory. They carried that form on into their next game versus Titans 2, and the Blackhawks took their tally to 2-0 for the weekend. I caught up with their coach, Pete Ball.
All right then, so 2 wins out of 2, you've got to be pretty happy with that.
Very happy, you can't ask for more than that. Great start.
And you've got a few youngsters in the squad as well, I hear.
Yes, we've got a few beginners this year, but we were able to rotate and they did their jobs brilliantly.
And so 2 wins out of 2, it's the perfect start. What are you hoping to achieve by the end of the season?
Well, last year we got bronze, so I'm hoping this year we can push it and get into the final.
Well, best of luck with that.
Thank you very much.
The Division 2 table is altered by the Steelers 2 squad, who due to unfortunate circumstances weren't able to be with us for weekend 1 and therefore forfeited their fixtures. Top of the table with 3 wins and a loss are the Titans 2, but they've played a game less than the Blackhawks, who are 2-0. In third lie the Angels, and in fourth, the Steelers. Before we move on with the rest of the show, just time for an exciting announcement. After the phenomenal success of last season's extravaganza, the Women's League All-Star Game returns. On the 28th of February 2016, the Women's League All-Star Game returns to the Wildcats Arena with the finest players from across the Women's League putting on a show to end the season in style. Tickets are on sale now at the link on screen, priced at just £2 for adults and £1 for kids. It was a sellout last year, so make sure you book now so you don't miss the show. That's that then for Division 2, some fantastic games in the first weekend, and if you were a regular watcher last season, you might be forgiven for thinking that is that for the show. Not so. We've got Division 3 coming up for the first ever time in Women's League. We've got 2 pools of 4 teams. Let's check out the action from Pool A. First up in the Division 3 spotlight is the Blue Stars, who opened their weekend with a game against the newcomers to the league, Melton Stallions. This was a close game which the Blue Stars took right to the wire, only for the Stallions to edge it. That's also what happened in their second game versus the Spitfires. Despite this basket dropping with 2 seconds to spare to tie the scores, the Blue Stars lost it in overtime. The Angels' 4th team are next up in Pool A, and they started their Saturday with a defeat to the Spitfires, but that wasn't without its fair share of highlights. Check out this celebration. Next up, they faced the Melton Stallions, and while once again the Angels certainly made a game of it with some great moments like this one, the Stallions were just too strong. The Stoke Spitfires are next in focus, and they started with a strong win over the Angels, winning in the end by 27 points courtesy of some great attacking play. The loudest team in the pre-match huddle in Nottingham, the Spitfires needed to summon that spirit in their final game of the weekend, as the Blue Stars took them all the way to overtime. The Spitfires, though, eventually claimed the victory. All eyes are on the Melton Stallions as one of the new teams to the league this year, and they kicked off their campaign in fine style with a win over the Blue Stars. Next up for the Green Machine was Angels 4, and once again they won through in some style, and you'll see the amazing celebrations from this basket during our interview with Fran Ray, who I caught up with after the game. Okay, so Fran, brand new here with the Melton Stallions this weekend. How's it gone for you?
Yeah, it's been really good. We've achieved a lot of great things already. We've managed to get each player to score, which is a great achievement for the team, as they are all brand new to the sport. We've got one that started 2 weeks ago, and this is our first ever time playing, so really pleased with them all.
Yeah, you're a brand new team to the league this year. How excited is everyone to be part of the Women's League?
They're all really over the world, so they're really excited just to keep playing, progress. They want to win. The Melton Stallions in the National League are having a bit of difficulty. They haven't won any games last season. This is women's first season, but they're really excited to be finally feeling some achievement from it.
And what's your hopes and plans for the season? Are you going to try and take the title?
We want the title. We want it, full stop. And we'll do everything we can to get it.
First up in Pool B, we take a look at another new team, the London All-Stars. They had the Bears in their first game, but struggled to take their chances as they were soundly beaten. But some extra shooting practice clearly paid dividends in their next game against the Angels Threes, as the team in red already showed signs of improvement, despite 2 losses. We now take a look at the 4th and final Angels team in the league. This is Angels 3. They opened up their Women's League account with a tough game against the Bristol Bisons, and despite this effort, the Angels were outscored by the team in white. Next up though was a game against the All-Stars, and the Angels found their shooting boots in this one, taking it 23-12. Next up are another new team to the league, and the Bears were eager to get their teeth into the opposition. They started with a solid win over the All-Stars, and their rebound work throughout the weekend was really strong, as demonstrated there, and also here in their second match versus the Bisons. The Bears couldn't quite claw back the Bristol side's lead though, and ended the weekend 1-1. Finally then, we get to take a look at the Bristol Bisons, who ended Division 3 with a 100% record from the first weekend. First they locked horns with the Angels, and with shooting like this, it isn't hard to see why they were so strong. If you thought that was good though, check out this one versus the Bears, the Bristol side looking in ominous form after the first round of fixtures. An impressive start then for the Melton Stallions, but they trail the Spitfires in the league table only on points difference. The top two will meet each other in the next round in January, as will the Blue Stars and the Angels 4, who are 3rd and 4th respectively. In Pool B, it's been a flying start by the Bristol Bisons, who've looked the team to beat so far, winning both of their games. The Bears and the Angels, meanwhile, were both beaten by the Bisons, but were victorious over the All-Stars. The Bears currently sit in second by virtue of points difference. For the All-Stars, it's been a tough start to Women's League life, but already the Londoners have shown plenty to get excited about, as they prepare to go again when we meet in Nottingham in the new year.
So there you have it, it's almost time for the end of the show.
It certainly is. But before we go, just time to remind you to check out the British Wheelchair Basketball website at the link below. There you'll find everything you need to know both about the Women's League and around this great sport in general.
We'll be back here in January for week 2, but until then, from myself and Stephen, it's goodbye.
Goodbye.